Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Tashambi Speaks. I am Dr. Tashambi. I want to thank all of you for sharing and liking my videos. And what I want to ask you all to continue to do, and if you haven't done it, I would ask that you subscribe to my channel. And then that way, when I do a video, you will already be notified when the video is done. So let's talk about what our topic is today. What I'm doing is I am doing a little series about how to avoid pitfalls in your BSN completion program. So this is part 2. And what we are going to talk about today is the group project. Yes, we are talking about the group project. A lot of people do not like group projects. I know when I was in school, I didn't like group projects because one of the things, group projects, it minimizes your ability to be autonomous. You have to work on someone else's time frame, and sometimes that can be difficult. It's just one more thing added on your list of things to do while you're working in some cases and you are trying to complete your BSN program. So with that being said, I kind of want to talk about why is it important that we have a group project. Most accredited bodies, they want the nursing programs to have group projects because as nurses, we are leaders. Nurses are leaders. Sometimes we think the leader is the chief nursing officer, or we think the leader is the unit manager, the clinical coordinator, the charge nurse, the preceptor, the supervisor. No, every nurse on the unit is a leader. You are the leader over your care assignment. There is nothing that can be done to your patient unless someone coordinates with you. I don't care if it's transportation that needs to take your patient down for a chest x-ray. Guess what? The first thing they say when they hit the unit is, who's the nurse? Where's the nurse? So we are coordinators. We are leaders. And the programs, when we have to do our group projects, one of the goals is to make sure that we know how to negotiate. And when we're negotiating in our care environment, basically, we are showing that we have the ability to be diplomatic, meaning that we have the ability to make decisions, coordinate the patient's care, and do it in a way where sometimes we're a peacemaker. You ever been in a situation where your patient was going for a test and it was just a lot of things going on and tubes all over the place and equipment, and we had to be the one to kind of just come in the room and just bring some calm into the situation? Well, the accrediting bodies believe that when we participate in our group projects, that ability to demonstrate diplomacy is something that should be developed inside of us as we go through the process of our BSN completion program. Another thing the group project does is it helps us be able to manage conflict. Yes, conflict will arise when we are in the midst of our group project. So what are some things that can cause conflict to arise? Well, if you are in your group and a person has not done their portion of the project, that can cause conflict to arise. So one of the things I want to show you all how to avoid this particular pitfall is when you are assigned to a group. Sometimes you're assigned to a group, and sometimes you can pick the members of your group, and sometimes you've just taken classes and you've been with the same group since you started the program, and that's always a bonus. However, if you are in a school and the facilitator selects the members of the group because they want to mix it up a little bit, then you want to make sure you set ground rules. So what do ground rules look like? Ground rules is just a set of rules that you all agree upon. Most times everybody should contribute to the ground rules, the development, so you have buy-in. We don't want one person acting like a dictator. It should be a combination of everyone who's in the group. You should all talk about who's going to do what. If you're going to have a weekly meeting, you need to be on one accord in terms of when the meeting should take place. If a person is not going to attend the meeting, they should be maybe emailing some feedback associated with their part. All of these are things that we can put in place in order to avoid the pitfalls associated with the group project. Now, There are some things that you do want to pay attention to when you're working on your group project. Say you set a meeting for 12 o'clock on a Sunday. Everyone agrees this is a good time, and maybe one of the members doesn't show up. If that person doesn't show up and you all reach out to that person, if they do not respond to you, I would say within a 12-hour time frame, you need to have the leader reach out to the course facilitator. Everyone shouldn't be sending emails to the course facilitator. It should just be the leader. They should send an email to the course facilitator and let them know that there's a concern, the group member didn't show up for your team meeting. Why is that important? Because what you want to do is establish a pattern that this person has a tendency not to carry their weight. And at the same time, you also want to start paying attention to the fact, like, what is this person's portion? If we have to do their portion of the project, then you all want to make sure you start talking about that, because in most cases, even though the person may not do their part of the assignment or their portion of the project, the school typically will require the members of the group to fill in the gap and to do that person's portion of the assignment, even though they'll end up, in most cases, with their name not being put on the assignment, and they'll probably end up with a 0. So you just want to make sure you cover yourselves when you are working in a group, and you also want to make sure that you're communicating to the course facilitator, because I'll be transparent. I have taught online BSN completion programs, and guess when I have found out that there was a member in the group that was not doing their part the day the assignment was due. And, depending on the school, depending on the rules in the syllabus, sometimes you can give an extension in order for the members of the group to get that person's project done or their portion done. But it's so much easier when you communicate with your course facilitator and let them do the work of trying to get in contact with that person. And then you collaborate with them and make a decision that you all are going to move forward. And if the person is not responding, because sometimes they may not respond to you, but they will respond to the course facilitator, and let them know that there are certain things going on in their life. So things do happen. We just need people to communicate. And that's another reason why we have the group project, because the group project, it's supposed to develop a level of maturity in us where we are effectively communicating with each other so the ball doesn't get dropped. Because oftentimes in nursing, we all know that when the ball gets dropped, it's just not one person who falls victim to the problem, but in many cases, there's many people who can fall victim to the problems that can occur when we are not communicating effectively. So that is ways, I've given you ways of how to avoid the pitfall of the group project. Now, I do want to let you all know that if you have questions, please submit your questions to me at drtashambyspeaks@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram as well at Dr. Tashambi Speaks. And just remember, everyone, for the people who have to renew your nursing license in 2022, September is coming up. You want to make sure that you're getting your contact hours done. Make sure you get your pain. If you've never done a human trafficking, we all have to do a one-time human trafficking contact hour. And then you want to make sure I would download them, or make sure you have a copy in a safe place in case you get abstracted by the State Board of Nursing after we all submit for our license this year. And if you are selected or abstracted, all you have to do is just make copies and send your proof of contact hours to the State Board of Nursing. Thank you all. Stay safe out there, and thank you for listening to my video.